Hey guys, this is How to Support episode 8, and this week we are going over trading, a couple key principles to trading, what trading is, and a nice clip to show you how to trade. Like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying this series, and enjoy. Okay, I'm going to teach you guys some rules and tips on how to trade efficiently. So before we get into this clip, first of all, I'm just going to describe what trading is and 3 tips that I usually keep in mind when I'm going for trades. So first, what trading is the idea of you giving up cooldowns or health for the enemy's cooldowns and health. So you are looking to either trade your HP for their HP, or your cooldowns for their cooldowns, or your cooldowns for their HP, something like that. And you're trying to get off efficient trades. So how can you get off efficient trades? Well, to start off, the first one is abuse positioning. So you want to make sure that if the enemy mispositions, that you abuse that, because you'll have a higher chance of winning. If you watched my positioning guide, it's basically, there's a parallel line theory, and if they break this parallel line theory, usually you can engage on someone. So you're looking for either abuse of positioning. Another one is you can abuse cooldowns. If their cooldowns are not up and your cooldowns are, usually you can go in for an all-in or a trade, and you probably are going to win. And third, try to track where the enemy jungle is. If you don't know where the enemy jungle is, it's not necessarily good to trade. And the whole point of trading is you just want to keep trading and chunking each other out and get beneficial trades until you get to a point where you can all in, because you have now traded efficiently enough times. So I kind of go over all these topics in this clip. So let's start it, and I can show you. So to start off, Nami's going to come in here and use her W on my ADC, right? Well, Nami now, her main ability, she's level 1. She has no other spells up, so she is basically at this point a caster minion. She does 51 damage per auto. So she's like 2 caster minions at this point, TBH, right? So I'm going to be now looking to trade onto her. So she has no abilities up, and I just walk straight at her, and I trade back because there's no counterplay. It's really important to be doing this. Like, I can't stress enough when I do VOD reviews of how many times the enemy will use a cooldown. It doesn't matter if it's Nami using her W, Lulu walks up and blows her E auto on you, Lux throws a freaking E and pops it. If they use a cooldown, you should look to trade back because they no longer have that cooldown up. So that was the first trade into this lane. Now Nami comes up and she trades again. To be honest, this was bad by me. I should have traded onto her because, again, abuse positioning, parallel line theory. She's not in parallel with her ADC. So if I walk up and auto attack her and my ADC attacks her, she's going to lose this trade because her ADC is not in position to help her. So the idea of abusing positioning to trade is I should have done there. I should have traded with her because she mispositioned. But at this point, I was actually more just focused on hitting level 2 first. So I missed an opportunity to trade, but I didn't trade for another reason, for an advantage elsewhere. So now we hit level 2. So this is a great time to trade because they're level 1. So we actually, in terms of abusing, we're abusing 2 things here. One, we're abusing cooldowns because we will have, I'm about to point up my E. We're about to have 2 abilities each, right? We're going to have 2 cooldowns, and their Ezreal and Nami only have 1. So we're going to be abusing their cooldowns here, and also parallel line theory. Ezreal is alone, so we can both attack him, and Nami can't help because she is too far away. She can't start auto-attacking or doing anything. So we're abusing here cooldowns, and we're abusing positioning to get ourselves another advantage in lane. So if I play it out, what happens here? I throw my root, and Ezreal's forced to flash because we had ability advantage and we had positioning advantage. If Nami was up closer, Ezreal might not had to have flashed. If he had ate it, Nami could have blown her heal on him. Maybe out of that he could have blown his heal, and maybe he could have held his flash instead of the heal. But because we had ability advantage and she was out of position, we were able to get a very, very, very efficient trade-off on him. So let's keep watching here and keep looking at the idea of trading, right? So we're maintaining parallel lines, so it makes it hard for them to do anything to us. We're pushing up to their tower. La-di-da-da-da. Right there, Ezreal E's in. And I literally said, this was a game I played on stream, and I literally said when he E'd in right after, I said, I don't know where their jungler is. If I did, I would go in on that. So because I don't know where their jungler is, and it is feasible that Udyr could have done, you know, camp, and try to level 3 gank and cheese a spot. I don't know where Udyr is. I don't have vision. I can't. But when Ezreal E'd in there, if I did know where Udyr was, right? So say right here when Ezreal E's in, Ezreal hits level 2. Boop, 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 boop. Right here, and say Ezreal E's in, right? At this point, if I saw Udyr, for instance, if there's a ward here, we see Udyr. I don't know, Udyr's ganking mid right here, or Udyr's top. We have vision on Udyr. Right here, I could stealth at Ezreal and root auto ignite him. He's also mispositioned because he E'd forward. Parallel line, his support is on position, right? Abilities to abuse. His abilities are both on cooldown. I have both my abilities. My ADC has his abilities. So positioning and cooldowns I'm in a good position to trade here. But the reason I don't is because I don't know where their jungle is. So I decide not to go and turn onto that, as he could be Eing in because the jungler could be right here about to gank. And, you know, he's Eing forward because he's about to gank. But one thing to note is even though I didn't trade with him there, I still have this opportunity to abuse cooldowns. I'm still looking right now because Ezreal has no E for another 19 seconds. His E is a 28-second cooldown. When you get an Ezreal E, you need to look to abuse it. Nami also just looked for a heal. So now, even though I still know where their jungler is, my ADC, before we were here, we were in a bad position to get ganked. We don't know where the jungler is, but we're in a bit of a better position where I can look to trade right now because they're missing their key cooldowns. So I go and look for a trade. I don't end up getting it, and I back off. Now, if I was the enemy Nami, and Ezreal, I would be like, okay, Neeko has no spells up, right? So I can walk over. If I was Ezreal, I'd walk up to here and just walk at me and force me out of the bush. Nami should walk up and force me out of the bush. They don't because they're not abusing cooldowns. But if they're abusing cooldowns properly, look at my ADC's HP, they'd be forcing me out right now because I have no cooldowns up. It's really important. Hopefully you guys are getting it. I'll be giving some examples of more common matchups you'd see outside of this because most of you guys aren't Neeko support mains. But this was just really good to demonstrate the idea of trading. So let's just fast forward it a little bit again. So, okay, there. Again, the idea of abusing either cooldowns or abusing positioning, right? She has no E up, so she's got a cooldown down, right? And, again, she's heavily mispositioned. Parallel line. I can go in on her, my ADC can go in on her, and Ezreal can't really help because he's not in a position to help because Nami is mispositioning, right? I have my spells up, my ADC has spells up. So we're up in ability, we're up positioning, and we're up summoner spells. So I can walk in and look to trade. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find one. RIP. But right here, there we go. Now it's the same concept. She's out of position, and I get a free summoner spell. Now it's really important that what I'm about to show next. So now at this point, we have gotten both their flashes for free, and we're up summoner spells. So remember, when I said with trading, you're trying to trade until you get into a position where you can find an all-in. At this point, I'm looking to all-in because we see Udyr top, right? So we know we're not about to get counter-ganked. And since we both have flashes up and they don't, I can look for an all-in now because I traded efficiently enough times to the point where I can go for an all-in. Because if it goes badly, we have double summoners to get out alive and we'll probably live. So right now, I'm looking for a chance to go in, and I'm just waiting and waiting. Let's see where it is. It's really pog. Okay, so I go in, and I find an all-in on Nami, right? And at this point, it's a really close fight. I'll tell you one thing. If we weren't up summoner spells, we would have lost this. But because of our efficient trading earlier, we go in, we get it, and watch here. I flash out, right? And Ezreal tries to go for me, and my ADC flashes in front of him to block the Ezreal Q, and we turn around and get a double kill. All I want to say is if Ezreal or Nami had flash, either one of them, we would have lost this probably. But because I was doing the idea of abusing cooldowns and only going in when they don't have cooldowns, we were able to win this trade. So I hope it made it really obvious the idea of trading when you're either up in a cooldown, when you're up on positioning, or if you know where the jungler is, are good times to trade. And then once you get enough of an advantage, you can look for all-ins. So this, I don't have more clips. I've been kind of intimidated into making videos like these because I only play Neeko and it's not really got that much good footage for other people. But I'll quickly now just talk about a couple other matchups. I'll just leave this footage rolling in the background. Why not? So some more matchups and stuff. Say we're playing Janna versus Lulu, for example. And as Janna, you want to walk up and W auto, but you know Lulu's just going to shield their ADC. So you're not going to actually get anything out of that trade level 1, right? But say your ADC auto attacks Ezreal. Ezreal gets shielded by Lulu. Well, now Lulu's shield is down, and now you can trade because you have an ability advantage. It's really important to abuse abilities, and this can be in any lane whatsoever. Thresh throws his hook, and he misses. Nautilus throws his hook and misses. Well, now you have like a 10-second window. You need to trade onto them because their cooldowns are down. Say, for an example, in mid lane, you're facing a Zed. Zed throws out his WEQ combo, and you get chunked to half health. A lot of people I know would be very scared and intimidated, not wanting to trade back onto the Zed. But you have to remember, all his abilities are on cooldown. He's out of energy. You need to trade back because if he does his combo and you don't trade back, you're going to end up losing the lane because then when he gets his abilities back up, it's even harder. So like the main idea of this video is abusing cooldowns is like the most important thing. When the enemy uses cooldowns, try to abuse them before it's back up, especially important cooldowns like a Morgbind, Thresh Hook, etc. but also abuse positioning and abuse cooldowns and abuse where the jungler is to get efficient trades off so that eventually you can get an advantage where you can all in.